We have two old friends catching up at the Scotsman's Well. It's a pub in northwest Calgary. Alain Pelletier, we go back to 2008 at the St. James Gate in Moncton, New Brunswick, but Alain's on a cross-Canada tour. And you speak to schools right across the country on bullying. And I just think it's a fascinating topic, but it's also very much needed.
It's a fascinating topic, very much needed, and the process is what's missing into the schools. You need to put emotions into the process of understanding what really is bullying.
And you have figured out it's called the 5 faces of bullying. So what are the 5 faces?
Well, there's 5 different actors, and those actors have faces.
Okay.
A different angle of looking at one same problem. So the victim, the bully, the bystander, the parents, and the teachers. And they all play a role into bullying into the schools.
And in your speeches, and you start with kids as young as how old?
Grade 1.
Grade 1. And then you segment the different audiences.
Yeah.
And then, but you've got a very counterintuitive theory. Tell us about that in terms of what people think about bullying and how to stop it is not necessarily the way to do it.
We always put all of our eggs in one basket, meaning we want to stop bullying. That's what we all want, right?
Right. If we could just stop the bullying.
We need to understand that bullying did happen, it does, and it will always happen. We don't need to get bullies out of the equation. You need to put the victims out of the equation. If you can minimize the damage that the victims go through, you're never going to get bullies. So get the victims out of the equation, bullying's going to stop
So
altogether.
when we see that such and such initiative is an anti-bullying campaign, are you saying, in effect, well, that's flawed thinking from the get-go?
It's self-victimization. That's where the problem roots.
And in your presentations, you give specific tools to help
Get the victims out of the equation.
the victim out of the equation.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different way
180.
of looking at the whole issue.
Yeah.
Is that what we're understanding?
It's a 180 on whatever's taught by the school boards to the schools and what you're taught by the teachers to the kids.
This is, what about the response? What kind, if there's one story that stands out more than any, and I know you get a lot of great, feedback, but if there's one story that has touched you the most, what would that be?
One time I was going into a school and this one kid, it's a he, and he did not want to be with the rest of the school because it's a big class. There's about 300 kids in one room, and he was shy, didn't want to participate, and there were desks on the wall, and he went to hide underneath the desks, and the teachers were, well, as long as you don't bother anyone, just stay there, and that was it. And when I started the speech, he was backed, like his back was towards me. He was in a shell. He didn't want to have nothing to do with it. And little by little, he kind of peeked over the shoulder, and then he just turned around. By the end of the speech, he was front row looking at me with those eyes, and he was like, wow, finally, he kind of saw himself throughout that speech, and that made him get out of his cocoon, literally, and go out with the 299 other kids of the school. He just opened up.
So Alan, even at young ages, we never know what people are dealing with.
He was grade 2. He was in grade 2.
And the impact that must have on just, what is it? If you can change one person, you change the world?
It's amazing to have all those little eyeballs on you and have their non-verbal, communication talking back to you, and they're just little sponges. Love it.
For people who want to get you, book you, get you into their school boards, their school systems, what's the easiest way?
It's AlainPelletier.ca. It's my personal phone number, my personal email. I don't have an agent. I answer the phone. I answer the emails. AlainPelletier.ca.
We've been great friends for a long, long time, and so thrilled to see you out here visiting us in Calgary, and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Alain Pelletier, never forget, you can't create a legend without a story. Alan's doing legendary work, and who knows, you could only be maybe one story away from creating your own legend.